Today we're going to take a look at Cinderace VMAX. Welcome back everyone to more from the Sableyes. I'm Mitch and today we're going to be playing some games with Cinderace VMAX in the Vivid Voltage format. I've always really liked this card, I think it's pretty good. I've just started to play a couple of VMAX cards over the last few days that I have enjoyed a great deal since their release. Cinderace, Welder deck, it's got everything that you possibly want out of a Pokemon card deck, really. There's lots of power here, lots of options. We'll take a look at the deck in just a second. If I can get my words out, that would be great. But before we do, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. It only takes a second, and you can always unsubscribe if you would like. And also like the video. If you like the video, then it will appear on other people's screens, and they will like the video, and it will appear on other people's screens. And then in my next video, I can wear a big golden crown for being the king of YouTube, even though it's not realistic in a day. I'm going to stop setting unrealistic expectations. Let's go on to PTCGO and check out the deck. So here we have it, Cinderace VMAX. I don't know why this reset stamp has a number on it. I obviously didn't finish clicking on things. That's okay. Cinderace is a very good card. 320 HP, VMAX Pokemon, Fire type. Max Pyro Ball deals 170 damage for 3 energy, which is not too shabby, and it also burns your opponent's active, so it's guaranteed to two-shot everything in the format, including Eternatus VMAX. Plus, it can take down some of the big metal-type threats that are floating around at the moment, like Zacian and also Lucario Melmetal. We also have Counter, which is a really cool attack. 30 damage, plus the amount of damage that was dealt to Cinderace in the opponent's last turn. So let's just say we were attacked by a Zacian, for example. It deals 230 damage. We can then counter with 260 damage. If we're playing up against, I don't know, Eternatus, they can deal 270, we can deal 300. It's a really, really solid attack that can definitely put a lot of pressure on it, and for only 2 energy, it's very, very easy to get going. Now, we've got, obviously, the Welder package to get those energies attached, but you'll notice we also have 3 copies of Heat Fire energy as well. This will give that Cinderace just a tiny little boost to get across those HP thresholds, maybe make it survive a little bit longer than it ought to have otherwise. To be honest, you could probably cut those 3 Heat Fires and just turn them into another 3 Fire energy, but I do really like the Heat Fire. I think it is a solid inclusion, so definitely worth a look there. Remember as well, Cinderace V has Field Runner, which means it has free retreat when there's a stadium in play, and there will often be a stadium in play, so that's really, really good, and Crimson Legs for 140 is a solid attack as well. Talking about solid attacks, we have Heatran-GX, which can deal 130 with Steaming Stomp and Hot Burn for 50 damage times the amount of energy attached to this Pokemon. Struggled to get that one out. This is obviously our big one-shot attack. We can try and move a ton of energy onto Heatran and take a big knockout with that. We can accelerate energy using Baby Volcanion and Flare Starter on the first turn, and depending on how our setup has gone, we can also attack with our 1 copy of Dubwool V, which means a Revenge Blast is going to be a pretty powerful option in those last couple of turns. There's the list. I'm not going to run through it in too much more detail than that. Big Charm's a good card. Include that. Going to make our Cinderace have a bunch of HP, which obviously paired with our Heat Fire is going to give us a lot of opportunities to survive. We can even get turn some 2 shots into 3 shots, which would be great. I'm going to jump on the ladder and see if I can't win a couple of games with this thing, because I think it's pretty good. So yeah, we'll go to that. Here we go into our first game of the day. We're going to start with a Dubwool here, which is not a bad start. Our hand is okay. We've got Dedennes and things like that, so it's a-okay. And our opponent has a Grass deck box, which means they're definitely not playing a Grass deck. Marshadow in the active. I don't know what we will be playing up against here. Tag Call. Are we actually going to see a Grass deck? If we find a Grass deck, that would be great. I would love that. I would genuinely enjoy that. I very rarely get to play Auto Wins. Oh, my goodness. And when I do get to play Auto Wins, they end up very, very poorly. So we're in a good spot here. Egg Row. As long as we can get ourselves set up here, we should be fine. What we do need to look out for is our opponent scooping, because they're going to do it. I guarantee it. All right, let's just go here with some stuff. Is it worth trying to go for a Dubwool with a Welder here? It might be. Let's just Pokegear. It doesn't really matter. Okay, now that we've got the Welder, we can go for it. We can get rid of the boss with the Giant Hearth. Grab 2 energies out of the deck. We can welder to the Dubwool. We've got a couple of energies there, which I do not mind at all. Unfortunately, we have a terrible, terrible hand, and drawing into those Crobats there is pretty awful. So I'm just gonna burn them all away. This is not ideal either. Now that we've just gotten rid of all the Crobats, we are going to need to leave ourselves the option to go in with another attacker next turn. We're looking alright here, though. We can take a prize. This is all fine. This is all fine. It's fine. We can, Oh, okay. I was about to say we can Quick Ball for Eldegoss, but we get it off of the prizes. Or we could go Quick Ball for our second Dedenne, because it's not in the discard just yet. Also, just so you know, my window is open. So, noise might be coming through. I'm not sure. Please don't play down the power plant. I'll pay you genuine money to do that. Oh my god, that's so disappointing. Top decking an energy is good because it means that we can welder with the Eldegoss. But otherwise, we're in a bit of strife here. They're gonna evolve into Decidueye. So we do need to find our Stage 1, the Cinderace VMAX, to be able to get past the Deep Forest Camo ability. Switch doesn't help us, really. What does help us? Does Gust help us? Probably not. I think we need to Welder, so we can Eldegoss, grab the Welder out of the discard pile, and then we're going to need to Fire Crystal for 1 energy, and welder that onto the Cinderace. Now, I could have retreated the Dubwool and gone from there. Oh my goodness, this is a disaster of a hand. I could have done that, but I don't think I really need to. There's no real rush here, and I'm not going to be pressured to be knocked out next turn, so it's not too big of a risk. We can also, next turn, just switch into the Cinderace and take the knockout there if we have to. But the power plant is going to put us behind a little bit, which is disappointing. I don't really like that at all, frankly. Also, Tropical Hour you can use without having an extra 3 grass energy. It's just a 3 extra energy. Thank you for telling me that, whoever it was that told me that. Because I've made a grand fool of myself. That's very interesting to Mallow and Lana yourself into 0 cards there. Because I can just switch and knock you out with the Cinderace. That's not a problem. Like, I'll just do this. Because you don't have Weak Guard energy. So, what are you gonna do about that? That's probably a concession time, right? Probably? It's probably a concession. You've got to concede. After that, that's pretty embarrassing. It's bad, right? It's really bad. Oh, a reset stamp. Okay, so you're going to try and force us to draw into the VMAX. We don't have the VMAX yet. Nor do we have the VMAX now. We don't have Crobat to draw. We're going to pretend we can attack. Boop. Alright, well, it's just a matter of time here then. Eventually, we will find ourselves a Stage 1, and we will be able to win the game. Eventually, it'll happen. It's just having to discard those 2 Crobats early was really bad. This is the thrilling gameplay. The opportunity that you get to see one of these 2 great decks go up against each other. Oh, look at that. We've got an energy attachment. A capture energy does not find a Pokemon. What card will Mitch top deck next? Oh, it's a fire energy. Could it be worth doing something else? Probably. Let's play down the Volcanion and attach an energy to it. What a thrilling play. Then a pass. Unbelievable action. We will probably, if we see a fire energy come out of my top deck here, then we will be knocking out the Decidueye with the Volcanion. Unbelievable action. Oh, there's a Guzmahala. They're going to go looking for a grass energy and a big charm. Not that they can play it on anything of note. If we find a fire energy, here we go. It is happening, guys. It's happening. They're going to attack for 90 damage. They've got nothing in their hand. Do I top deck an energy? Oh, it's a pass. Oh, I can't believe it. How unbelievable. What an absolute ripper game I am showing you off here. I can't keep this level of energy up much longer. Fire energy. No, it's a Dedenne. Pass again. Alright, moving on. Let's just speed this thing up. Oh, a tag call. What are they going to do here? Oh my god. What is this game? Power Plant is a pretty good card, I will say that. They're going to Cynthia and Caitlyn and go looking for another basic of some description, I'd imagine. There's the Power Plant gone. If only we could replace a stadium of our own, that would be amazing. Oh, they're going for the Mallow and Lana out of the deck. Good stuff. They've got a big hand here. Literally just need to find one copy of energy. Giant Hearth would be fantastic. They elected not to attack for some reason. What a game, ladies and gentlemen. What a game. We are doing so well, I assume. Oh boy, wowee. I'm just going to attach down there. We're going to get another Cinderace. I'm going to welder to the Cinderace. Come on, welder. Thank you to the Cinderace. There's the concept. What a game. Whew. Ripper stuff. Alright, ladies and gents, into another thriller. This time, you'll notice... Oh my god, I can't believe that I just got that off the top deck. I was about to say, you'll notice that we found a Dedenne for our active Pokemon with nothing else. But luckily, we managed to find a Cinderace V. This looks like the amazing rare box that Tord Reklev recently featured on his channel. I've actually been playing some games with this deck. I think it's pretty good. Would you like me to show it off on my channel? I'm more than happy to. I don't want to steal Tord's thunder because he's a much better player than I am. But here we go. 150 likes on this video and I will play Amazing Rare Box or Amaze Box or whatever you want to call it next video. Right? 150. I'm not going to make it too hard to do. I'm just going to say that's it. That's the number. 150 likes. I will play the Amazing Rare Box in our next video. An Intrepid Sword here from our opponent, setting up the 3 cards in hand, but we've got ourselves a... Oh! Yahtzee! We've got them all. How do you like that? 4 welders in our opening hand. Unbelievable. Oh, cool, and we've got ourselves a Quick Ball as well. That's really good, because what it means is we can find a Dedenne to get rid of all of our welders for the rest of the game. Not really, we're not going to do that. I am going to grab 1 energy, right? I'm going very, what's the word that I'm looking for? I'm going very conservative here. I don't want to get rid of all of my welders. I just want to draw a switch. No, I did not draw a switch. We will pass. This is acceptable. It's acceptable, I suppose. Starting Dedenne and 4 welders is not the way you want to generally start a game like this. If you can avoid doing that, then you probably would be best to do that. Because here's the thing: playing a fire deck without welder is usually a bad thing. But that's okay. They are going to take a bunch of time to try and get organized here. They're possibly going for that Amazing Star knockout, or not knockout, Amazing Star attack this turn. Which would give them all the energy that they need to get cracking with their attacking. Whew, man, I'm a poet and I didn't even realize. But yeah, here we go. So there's the Psychic Energy, and they won't be able to use the Fighting Energy this turn unless they get into it with a Coin Flippo, whatever that card's called. I'm not in a good headspace at the moment. What's that card called? Turbo Patch. If they have a Turbo Patch, they can do it, but if they don't, then they can't. Alright? You just can't cheat, like by attaching 2 energy in a turn. This Jirachi's going to be a big old pain, though, especially if it does get that attack off, because it means that they will be able to have pretty much every single energy that they want to have in play. So, I do like that as an attack, but remember, we have our Volcanion, which can High Heat Blast and knock out most of these amazing rare Pokemon, right? Most of them can be knocked out. So I feel like it's probably a pretty good option to just go into Volcanion this turn. So Viridian Forest away, probably Viridian Forest away in energy. And then get another Fire, Giant Hearth, etc. Because then we can set ourselves up with a good attack. Look at that, we got a switch as well. This is perfect. So we will get rid of the Fire Energy with Viridian Forest. Then I will replace with Giant Hearth. And gosh darn it, I'm just going to go and get rid of that Fire Energy again, because I know that I can get them back with Fire Crystal. Then we are going to use one of the welders that we started in our hand to attach 2 energies to Volcanion. And look at this, we're all going nicely here. Everything's working out. We're going to switch into the Volcanion. We are going to attach a basic energy to the Dubwool, I think. And then we're going to High Heat Blast, and this will get us 2 prizes, if you don't mind. Really, really good attack, and I think we actually are going to survive an attack. No, Raikou does 120, so we could have attached the Heat Fire Energy to the Volcanion to potentially avoid that, but it's okay, it's not the end of the world. There's that Turbo Patch. Do they have the Fighting Energy? No, they don't, so they'll probably try and put a Metal onto this Raikou. If they have a Grass Energy in hand, they could potentially get an attack off this turn, which would be pretty frightening, frankly, but that's okay. We've got options out the wazoo here. We've got plenty of good choices. And this is the problem that this amazing rare box does have occasionally, is that it does struggle to get going early. Now, the Amazing Star ability, or attack, is ready to be attacked with here. Gonna want to find some more Pokemon to put on the bench, though. Because if you don't have the Pokemon, it's going to be a bad time. Seeing another Turbo Patch. No dice for our opponent. Another Turbo Patch. Some dice. Look at that. Ooh, boy, oh boy, wowee. There's 3 of them gone. And a Professor's Research. Fair enough. And there's 2 Lightning Energy in hand. There you go. So this is looking very, very good for them. Very, very good for them. This is Zamazenta. This is going to be annoying to deal with because it can prevent all damage done by VMAX Pokemon. So I'm going to need to knock that out with something that isn't a VMAX. We're about to see that Jirachi here, but I think I'm far enough in front that it's not going to make a difference. One of my... When you have a long beard, sometimes beard hair goes into your mouth, and then it comes off of the beard. Yuck! I'm sorry that you had to watch that, but it was not doing me any favours in my mouth. Nah. Alright, after that display, this is on the internet for a while. Oh well, that's fine. Tapu Koko Prism is going to accelerate a Lightning Energy to Zamazenta and Rayquaza. You're going to see a lot of energy, a lot of different types of energy on our opponent's side of the field here, that's genuinely impressive. Here comes the Amazing Star. Surely the Amazing Star's coming out here. We're going to see like a Metal and a Fighting go over here. We're going to see a Grass and a Fighting over here. We're going to see a Grass over here. We're going to see a bunch of energy going onto the Rayquaza to potentially take a big one-shot knockout on something like a Cinderace VMAX. There is a ton of options for our opponent. Luckily for us, we also have a ton of options. So we're going to be able to very easily control the amount of prizes that our opponent can take here, especially when we continue attacking with our Volcanion in the active, which I do like. Here comes the Fighting. There is another Fighting. We're going to see Grass Energy now. I see a Grass over here on the Rayquaza to get that amazing burst out. Seems pretty good. Let's speed this process up here, Jirachi. I believe in you. You've gotten 2. Grass, yes. I predicted it. I'm a genius. There's the Metal. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're gonna... Oh, no more energy from there. Okay, cool. No worries. Right, so we're gonna get rid of the Fire Energy with Giant Hearth. We'll grab 2 more. The reason we do that is because now there are 3 Fire Energies in the discard pile, which means we can just grab them with our Fire Crystal. I'm also gonna play down another Cinderace. I'm gonna play down a Heat Fire Energy, and then goodbye, good Sir Jirachi. It was nice knowing you. But unfortunately, you are not long for this world. And we've got an attack that can take a knockout on any of these amazing rares now. Literally 2 of our attackers are powered up. We've used all 4 of our welders, which is unfortunate. So we're going to need to manually power up Cinderace as an attacker. But that's fine, because we will obviously be able to get knockouts on pretty much anything else that we want to. Now we're in this weird spot, right, where we need to remove these threats from the board as quickly as possible, but it's going to be quite tough to do that because they are going to be putting a lot of pressure on themselves, which is pretty solid, actually. It's really good. Now, the 120 damage here from Amazing Shot, this is important. Where does it go? It goes onto the Dubwool. That is good news for me because I think it means that I can promote the Dubwool without having to worry at all about potential knockouts. Let's see. Actually, maybe it's better to go with the Cinderace. It's better to go with the Cinderace because it's got free retreat regardless, right? Let's have a thinky-do now. We're going to get rid of the Volcanion with the Giant Hearth to grab the last fire energy that we have in our hand. I'm going to hold on to these fire crystals for later. I'm going to Pokegear just to thin those out because we know that we don't need them. Boss's Orders seems like a pretty good card. Now we can do one of two things here. We can knock out the Raikou with the Cinderace, which I like, or we can gust out one of these two bench sitters. To be honest, I'm just going to knock out the Raikou with Crimson Legs from Cinderace because we don't need the Cinderace to win the game. And at the moment, well, there's a Cinderace VMAX, but since we don't have the VMAX, we don't need to worry about potential, like, shenanigans, like this Rayquaza taking a big knockout, or this Zamazenta locking us from being able to attack. So, I like this play. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to wait. As long as I can hold my hand here, I'm going to wait. They're going to take a knockout on the Cinderace V. I'm going to promote the Cinderace V on the bench. We're going to attach an energy to it, evolve it, and then knock out the Zamazenta, because this Rayquaza will not be able to attack again because the Turbo Patch has been used. And that seems like the best way to win this game. We also have Dubwool, just in case. He can sit there, though. He's a big, fluffy boy, and he's happy to sit there, just relaxing. But yeah, like, the Amazing Rare Box has worked. Like, we've seen it work. 320 damage is so much. Oh my goodness. There goes all the energy from Rayquaza. So now we are pretty much locked in to win this game. We can promote the Cinderace. We can grab ourselves an energy from the discard pile, which is very, very strong. We can play down the energy. We can play Big Charm on the Cinderace. We can evolve into the VMAX. And then we can gust out the Zamazenta. Max Pyro Ball will take a knockout on that. It hasn't attacked, obviously it only works when it has attacked, and now my opponent only has one Pokemon in play with no energy and no way to accelerate to it. So, that'll be that, I'd imagine. Good stuff. Cinderace has done the job, but Amazing Rares are they're pretty powerful. If you can get them going early, they're pretty solid. Alrighty, game 3, and we have ourselves a pretty solid opening hand. We've got a Volcanion in the active. As long as we can find a basic Pokemon, so looking at Quick Ball, Pokecom, just a Pokemon, right? If we can find a Pokemon, we're looking really, really good here. I don't actually know what we're playing up against, though, so... oh, okay. We're gonna see like a Surfetched Colossal type deck. This is interesting. My ELO must be really low at the moment. I must be playing some much lower tier players, because we're not seeing the big boys of the format, the ADPs, the Eternaduses anymore. We're seeing the cool stuff, the interesting stuff, which I guess is a good thing. There's a Marnie for next turn. We might not even want a Flare Starter here. We might just be happy to go for the High Heat Blast. I mean, if we don't find a basic, then we definitely go for the High Heat Blast, right? Okay, so we're going to Welder. We're going to Welder 2 energies to this Volcanion, and hope that we find a basic. We do. Let's actually... Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to Quick Ball away the Reset Stamp to grab a Cinderace. We'll play that down. Now... Here's the interesting question, right? I think we can just attach here and then High Heat Blast, because we've got Eldegoss and we've got an energy... Hang on, we've got a Welder in the discard pile, that's what we've got. So yeah, I don't actually think we need to Flare Starter here, I think we can just take the knockout. This gives us an extra card to work with, plus we've got the pieces that we need to actually do something next turn, regardless of what our opponent does. And they don't have a lot of cards either, so I'm feeling like that was the smart play. But, then again, I'm usually dumb, so... Here's the Colossal with Tar Generator. I'm going to be able to power up a bunch of fighting and fire-type Pokemon with that particular Pokemon. Obviously, a very, very strong support Pokemon. There's the Marnie that they did take last turn, so fair enough. I should probably have considered that. But that's okay. Doesn't matter. Never punished. Perfect hand. We've literally got the perfect hand going up against this thing, and it does look like it will be a Surfetched deck of some description, and fair enough, because I mean Surfetched is really, really cool, so we will see what they do here. What do they do? Do they have energy to discard? No, they don't. So they can't use Colossal for the moment. What's going on out there? There's something going on outside. This is why I don't normally have the window open. They know. We're going to see a Galarian Farfetch'd here. Okay, what do we got? We got nothing. Our opponent's doing nothing. So we are in the absolute clear here. I can play down the Cinderace. I can quick ball away the fire energy. I mean, there's no need to worry about that. We can grab ourselves pretty much anything that we want. And I think we just want, like, to discard a Volcanion, because we don't care about attackers. We've got plenty of attackers. So let's discard the Dedenne. We'll draw us some cards. There's a Welder. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. We're going to discard another fire energy to grab 2 more from the deck. We have the opportunity to welder those 2 fire energies to the bench. Get this Cinderace going here. We can evolve him. Look at this. And yeah, we're at a spot now where we're pretty much all good to go. We can just high hit blast. Take the knockout, 110 damage. And we are well on our way to winning this game. Whether this is a game that's worth winning or not is another question. I actually think that Cinderace is really, really good against good decks as well. So, I mean, it's one of those ones where the games that I've played have not been against decks that have been good, but it can compete against them. So I would definitely recommend taking it out on the ladder and trying to play some games against other decks. But yeah, we're in a really good spot here. Next turn we can gust up that Crobat if we retain our hand. If we don't, then we don't. Our opponent's not done anything to us. Is this video worth putting up? Probably not, but I've already talked over the top of it, so, you know, it's hard to say, really. Here's the Surfetched, and obviously this attack, Meteor Assault, is actually really, really good. Fighting double colorless is a solid number, as a solid energy cost, sorry, for a number as big as 180. But unfortunately our opponent just hasn't been able to get going here. The thing that they do have going for them is that they are able... Oh, there's the money, so we're going to lose our boss. They are able to hit all of our big Pokemon for a significant amount of damage, and with Colossal, they can get that going pretty easily as well. So I wouldn't stress too hard from their side of the field. They could potentially come back and win this, but they are going to need to knock out the Volcanion this turn. If we take another prize, it's almost definitely over. I mean, the game's probably over anyway, right? We've got a Pokemon, a Crobat, a Switch, a Welder. We're going to discard the Switch with Giant Hearth and then Welder to the second Cinderace and see what we get. We don't need to switch at the moment. There's the Scoop Up net. Do they have the knockout? Can they get the knockout? I don't think they can. But they can hold me to my Volcanion word here. I was about to say we should get rid of the Switch. In fact, I did say it. You can roll the tape back if you like, and I will say at some point in the seconds before this moment that I should discard the Switch. But I won't be able to take a knockout if I do that. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do is I'm just going to discard the Pokemon to get the energy. I'll switch into the Cinderace and then knock out this Surfetched with that. Seems reasonable. They're still going looking for those energies to try and get a knockout this turn. They need 1 fighting energy in the discard pile and a fighting energy or a fire energy in the hand to get a knockout. There's the fighting energy. And they can get the fire energy with the Giant Hearth if they don't already have it. So that's a pretty good little combo. There's the energy. Here we go. Colossal is generating. And they will knock out the Volcanion. And now suddenly we don't need the Switch anymore. So I can get rid of the Switch again. This is why you don't think until it's your turn. Because otherwise, you make a fool of yourself. You make a fool of yourself. Here comes the Cinderace. Okay, so we are now in a very interesting position. I'm going to get rid of the Pokemon. We're going to grab the fire energies. I like this play. I think it's the right one. We're going to Welder to the Cinderace. Now what I could do, depending on what we get here, I could switch into this Cinderace and then retreat to try and draw more cards with Crobat, but I don't actually think that we need to do it. I think we can just evolve here and then use Max Pyro Ball. Next turn we have a boss in our hand, so we can knock out one of their benched 2 prize Pokemon. I think that seems like a pretty good idea. And we can also use Counter to knock out a Surfetched next turn as well, because they cannot knock out a Cinderace VMAX with 1 attack. And that's one of the good things here is you need to find momentum in games. The fact that we were able to evolve both of our Cinderace Vs means that we have effectively forced our opponent to go through 1 of these VMAXs, and when they're only going to be able to deal 180 damage a turn, it can be quite difficult for them to do that in the time that they've got allocated for them, right? So let's talk about it. They're going to need to attack into us, right? We're going to knock them out and go down to 2 prizes. They'll knock us out again, and in that time they need to have reduced our hand so that we don't have boss, or otherwise we'll just win, right? Because we can attack twice to win. They have to attack 3 times to win. So there's a chance that they get there, but it's not likely. And I think that's the key to remember when you're playing these kind of games. You just need to know, okay, how long is it going to take for my opponent to actually win this game? How can I stop them from doing that? And like obviously for my opponent here, they can win the game in 3 turns, but they're going to need to find a lot of resources, because obviously Meteor Assault you can't use twice in a row, so you need to switch multiple times. If we knock it out, they need to find new Surfetcheds and new Farfetcheds and all that kind of stuff. We've got all the momentum. It's feeling good. I will say that much. This is a cool deck as well. I like this. It's like obviously not top tier. It's like a budgety type deck. It's hard to call decks budget decks when they've got Dedennes and Crobats. But to be fair, Dedennes and Crobats aren't coming down in value, so it's not like a big deal. There's the scoop up. Alright, so they're going through the first part of their kind of motion here. Now, what we could do is we could sacrifice our Cinderace by gusting up one of the 2 prize attackers on the field and winning the game that way. But there's a Marnie, so we can't do that. Again, don't think about what you're going to do, because you're just going to get your hand removed. It's always going to happen. So Welder. Okay, cool. So we've at least got an option for next turn. Welder's actually the best supporter we can get here, because we can just Welder to the benched VMAX and then attach an energy to Dedenne and we never lose. So let's just do that. We'll just get rid of the Dubwool here. We don't need that. We'll grab the last 2 energy out of the deck. We can Welder one of them to the Cinderace. We can attach one to the Dedenne. And at this point, we have an unassailable board state where we cannot lose, right? We cannot lose, or if we do, it will be embarrassing. Max Pyro Ball will take the knockout. Next turn we need to find boss and we win the game. It is as simple as that. So we can potentially get one off of the Pokegear. We might be able to play a few cards here to try and get ourselves a really good shout at a Pokegear for boss. We've got 22 cards left in deck, so it's going to be a little bit awkward, but we can still definitely do it. And the good thing for us is that they're actually putting the Crobat into the active. I don't know why they're doing that. They should probably have put the Jirachi there. That's okay. Or they're going to attack with the Surfetch. That's pretty cool. Alright. So, now they need a Fighting Energy on there and a Switch, which they probably already have. Air Balloon. Nice. And a Marnie. Okay, so here we go. Here's Mitch losing the game that he should have won against the deck that seemed like a meme, but is actually pretty solid and consistent. Right? That's why I needed to Gust last turn. There's the Gust. Now our win condition has become very different, because we have to take a knockout. Oh, actually, we've got the boss, right? But let's just imagine that we don't have the boss, because we would have to take a knockout on this Surfetched, and the only way for us to do that would be to use Heatran to get 5 energies on that Heatran and win the game from there. So, I mean, we can try and do that. We can pretend that that's a thing that we want to do. We obviously have the boss, so we can just Gust up one of these dudes and win the game. But I think this is the best play that he could have made, right? Because it forces me to deal with this Pokemon here unless I have boss, which I just happen to have in my hand. Which is disappointing for him, considering he just worked really hard to minimize my chances of having it. I feel like I should try and give him a game here. Oh, do I? No, just win. Just win the game, you dingaling. That's all you need to do is just win the game. Alright, Max Pyro Ball. That's really disappointing. I really wanted to go for it. Tell me, should I have tried to get the Heatran play off? I think I still could have won that game, but, you know, we're better off winning anyway. Right? Right? So there you have it. Cinderace VMAX is pretty solid, especially up against those kind of rogue decks that you might find on the Vivid Voltage PTCGO ladder. It did a pretty solid job. What can I say? And yeah, I really enjoyed my time playing with it. A little bit underwhelmed to have not seen any solid decks like ADP or Eternatus that we could have tested our metal against, but that's okay. Sometimes you just play against decks that are a little bit different on the ladder, and that's good. I'd rather play against those kind of things rather than constantly dealing with ADP. It can be a little bit tedious. you know, playing that all the time. Regardless, thank you very much for coming along. I hope you've enjoyed the list. I certainly have. If you have, like the video, subscribe, right? And there's a bunch of social media stuff down there that you can take a look at as well. There's Twitter, Facebook, Discord. You can try and find the secret TikTok as well if you want. It's a challenge that I set to you. When you find the secret TikTok, follow it, right? I challenge you to do that. And otherwise, I will see you all on the next one, whenever that is. I've been Mitch. I'm the Sableye boy. I make the videos on YouTube. That's me. Goodbye. What a weird ending.